So it's Michael from Low Kick MMA here. I'm speaking with rising Swedish superstar Anton Turkalj. First of all, how's it all going? How's it the training been? You know, how are you feeling?
Right now I'm feeling pretty good actually. The training have been not the best because I've been chilling a lot after the fight. So a lot of Netflix this time, not so much
Oh, really?
training. But I'm prepared. No excuses.
And how happy are you? I mean, it's a quick turnaround for you. It's only a few weeks that you last fought. You kind of made your brave promotional debut, and then you're back in the cage again on your home turf. How is it for you to have that quick turnaround and be fighting again so soon?
There's a lot of type of fighters. There's these types who say they can fight all the time, but when the contract came to them, they're not signing it. They always injured. I'm not that type. I can fight all the time almost. So after this fight, give me 2-3 weeks, I can fight again. So I like this. I get some money. I fight. And it's good for my career. So I just want to fight.
And you scored a very impressive first round victory in your debut. How was that for you coming into the fight? Were you nervous, kind of competing under it with a new promotion, or did it feel like just the same old stepping into the cage?
No, it was without a crowd, so it was like a IMAF fight, sort of. So yeah, I wasn't nervous. I had one job, and that was to win. And it's the same on Monday. I'm gonna win. It doesn't matter if it's 3 rounds or 1 round or knockout. It really doesn't matter for me.
So this fight, Ibo Aslan, 8-0, 7 first round KOs, all finishes. Do you do a lot of research on your opponent? Do you let your teams do the research, or do you like to sit down, kind of break your opponents down, or you just like to focus on your own game plan and kind of work with the coaches?
This guy I've been Google a little bit, but the more I Google him, he's worse than I think actually. He only he only been fighting journeyman. I've been fighting journeyman too, but only 5. He's fighting 8. He had a really tough opponent, and he haven't been fighting for 1 year. And he's that type of guy that only on Instagram, he's a fighter, blah blah blah. So he talks a lot. So in the cage, he can't talk.
So is there anything in particular that you want to work on that you're looking at doing in the cage today differently on Monday when you fight? Or is there anything you've been working on, any game plans, or you're just feeling pretty confident that all around you got the technical ability to beat him?
No, I'm just going to dance.
And what's it like? What's it like in Sweden at the moment? Because you've had Brave's been there almost a month. They've had event after event after event. How's the local scene enjoying having Brave there, and how's it for you, kind of as a a Swedish MMA fighter? What's it like having a promotion there for this length of period, which is quite unusual to have a promotion doing multiple events?
First of all, that Brave is in Sweden. It's amazing, only that. But they have been now 4 times here, so I can't even describe it. What this means to Swedish MMA. And a lot of Swedish people have the opportunity to show themselves. So only good things to say, And I always wanted to fight to Brave. I think it's a good way, and I want to stay here to fight as many fights as I can. So that has been here now for 4 weeks. It's amazing, and I'm looking forward to fight more fights here.
What's the local scene like at the moment in Sweden in terms of the rising talent? We're obviously knowing some of the top fighters that have been competing for the past few years, but for you, in kind of the new generation of Swedish talent, how do you see it amongst you and your peers that are coming up? Do you think is there a whole lot of young fighters coming up that you expect to kind of really make their name on the world scene?
Yeah, there's a lot of young fighters in Sweden. It's a new generation, and I'm the leader of the new generation. So we're gonna go out in the Europe and world and show how good the Swedish fighters are. So it's been a good opportunity for us to show ourselves in Brave. So now we're just gonna go.
And what's your bet? What drew you to MMA? Because obviously it's a very specific sport. What was it about MMA that you thought that's what I want to devote my time to? That's what I want to kind of spend my life pursuing.
When I was younger, in the schoolyard, I was fighting a lot, and I realized I have a good. I have a good, a talent for fighting when not even teacher could stop me.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So was there anyone in your family, any kind of, uncles or fathers or, brothers that fought?
None of them did martial arts. My father did a little bit karate when he was younger, but that's all. So, yeah.
And how have they been taking your newfound success and seeing you rise up? They must be pretty exciting for them seeing you kind of already competing in a co-main event spot in your own country.
When I started MMA, I lied to my parents, said it was like fake wrestling because they forbid me to train MMA. So for 3 years, I told them it was fake wrestling. And when I was in the national team, I told them the truth, and they still were, suspicious about the sport. But now when it's going good, MMA is growing. They're just happy for me.
So for 3 years, they thought you were trained to be a WWE pro wrestler, did they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I told my mom I did ballet too one time.
Oh, how long did that last for before she found out the truth?
1 hour, 1 hour.
Speaking of your amateur career, because you've had a decorated amateur career, you fought, you won medals, and when you talk about boxing, the amateur career is so important for boxing to get that ground and to get that skill set, and before they move on to the pros. Nowadays, with MMA, the amateur MMA is a growing scene. You've obviously been part of that. Do you see that amateur MMA will become as important to young MMA fighters as being an amateur boxing is to boxers?
Yes, I do. It's really important because a lot of if you see not the generation before me, but the more older fighters, they don't have any amateur fights. They just did pro, and nowadays it's so important to only win, win, win. You can't lose a fight, especially if you are undefeated. You need to stay undefeated, and it's getting hyped. So if you do amateur, you have amateur and pro is the same for me. I have the same feeling in me when I'm walking the cage. So it's important to have that experience when you go to pro. So do as much amateur as you can, and then you go to pro.
Did you feel that made your transition to the professional ranks a lot easier, having had all that experience in the amateur ranks?
One more time.
Did that make your transition, your move to the professional ranks? Did it make it a lot easier after having all that amateur experience? Did you feel it was less of a kind of a shock to suddenly arrive at the pros?
Yeah, it was much easier because when you do pro, you do one fight and you know the opponent. When you do IMAF, you need to cut weight every day. You do 5 fights in 5 days, and you don't know who you're going to fight. That was actually harder.
And so, so we can get to know a bit more about you. Where are you based at the moment in terms of training? And then who are you training with?
If you ask me, I represent Sweden, but I train in Stockholm. But when it comes to on the paper, I'm representing GBG MMA in Gothenburg. So, but I'm here in Stockholm and train a lot with Alex and Kamsat and the All-Star Gym. But when it's on paper, it's GBG MMA.
Is it a very supportive atmosphere amongst Swedish MMA fighters, like helping each other out? Is everyone really trying to grow the sport?
Yeah, no, it's really everyone is helping each other and having fun. It's not that much reality between the gyms anymore. It's none.
And what about in terms of the media in Sweden? Every country is a bit different when it comes to how they treat combat sports. Every country has a different kind of tradition. How has the Swedish media been approaching kind of Brave being there and your fellow Swedish fighters and yourself as well?
Aftonbladet, who's the biggest newspaper in Sweden, writes a lot about it actually. So they like it, Swedish fans love MMA, so they're happy that Brave is here.
So I suppose you're looking for the stage when Brave can come back and you can kind of be competing there with an audience.
Yeah, of course. But that time is going to be a title fight.
Smell fights. You're a light heavyweight. Have you studied your competition in the Brave division? Have you looked at some of the other light heavyweights? Have you kind of thought out what your kind of pathway to that gold belt might be?
Actually, none. I only know Todd Stout. I know him only, but none else.
What did you think of Todd's performance?
He was fighting a journeyman, so nothing special. He was like a bag, that the guy. So my grandma could do a better fight than Todd Stout's opponent, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well. Yeah. So is that a fight you'd like to potentially maybe line up? I mean, obviously you have this big fight coming up on Monday, but is he someone you'd like to maybe share the cage with in the future?
I would rather say yes or no, because my record, I have 6-0 on Monday, and I just want to fight good opponents that can take my career forwards. And I don't know if Todd is that type of guy that can take my career forwards or just be on the ground. So all the fights I want to take from now on, inclusive Ibo, is like fights that takes me my career forward and my experience forward. I don't know if Todd is that type of fighter that can do that, but maybe, I don't know. We will see.
So you're here, you have specific goals that you want to achieve. You're not in MMA to basically build your record up and just kind of knock over kind of journeyman after journeyman. You want to test your skills as soon as possible and just really push yourself. Is that right?
Yeah. Actually, I don't care much about of course it's important to win always, but that's not my main goal. I just try to do my best all the time, and we all gonna lose sometime. So I don't think about that too much. I'm just gonna do my best and having fun, earn some money, having fun.
And are you enjoying this lifestyle? Because obviously, a professional athlete, it is quite an intense lifestyle, and you got to be very disciplined. Is that something that comes easy to you, or has it been a bit difficult to becoming pro and kind of having that discipline?
I've been working for 2 months, I think, in an ordinary job at the office, and that was the worst 2 months in my life. Shit, I hate that.
Oh, so really?
So being an athlete or MMA fighter fits me so much better.
So you had that experience, and you're like, I'm not going back to that.
Yeah. That's my motivation. If I don't win, I'm gonna go back to the office.
Well, that's a good motivation then. And just before we wrap it up, and I'm sure people will be interested, when you had your kind of exhibition wrestling bout with Alexander Gustafsson, what was that like for you? Kind of obviously he's what he's achieved for Swedish MMA is massive, and for you being that younger generation, kind of sharing the ring with him when you did, what was that like, that moment for you?
Before the fight, me and Alex wasn't that good friends. I've been training a little bit at All Stars, but we just said hi and nothing more than that. So. And every time I was at All Stars when I was younger, Alex kicked my ass. He was so much better than me. So after that, so before the fight, I've been at All Stars and training with Alex, and he was so strong. So I didn't know what I had to expect, But the result was very nice. It was 0-0, so it was a tie. But they needed a winner, and Alex tried to do a takedown one more time than me, so he won actually. But yeah, I think. It was in a ring also, so it was, and it's only grappling, so none of me Alex could use our full grappling game, but it was really fun for me to share the ring with Alex. He's a good friend now, and a sort of a mentor. He helps me a lot actually. So now I'm training with him a lot, and yeah, we keep in touch.
And he must be a wealth of knowledge. He must be able to pass on a lot of information. Is there anything particular that you've learned from him that you've taken to heart that's been really invaluable as a fighter?
Last time I spoke with him, he talked to me how important it is not to lose, but he said it in a funny way. But yeah, it's really important actually, to have that perfect record as long as you can at least. And yeah, then he talks about, I don't know, we just talk. We only talk shit to each other. I don't know, not that much serious talk.
Okay, well, I'll let you get going. I know you probably got a busy day today, but thanks for your time. All the best for the fight on Monday. I look forward to seeing it, and I look forward to seeing you, compete and see where your career takes you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
All the best.
You too. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate.